We're finally having a few days of really nice weather here after all the rain. A lot of things are coming into season and we're getting a ton of work done. One of the things that's coming into season, we posted a video a couple days ago, is we're starting to get wild strawberries, which we're really excited about. When we posted that video, we did get a comment from a really great guy named Campfire Steve. Make sure that you guys head over and check out his channel. He's got an awesome channel, ton of fun. We've been with him for a really long time. All different camping and hiking videos, lots of wildlife, lots of fun and stuff to see, and overall, I mean, he's just a really good guy, really great to get to know, so make sure that you pop over there and say hi. But he left a comment with us asking, can we take these wild strawberries and do you think we could grow them in containers? I honestly have no idea. I've never done it before, so I figured why don't we give it a shot. So I'm going to do a couple different tests and see what we can do. But to be honest with you guys, this is not the time to be transplanting strawberries. No matter what you're transplanting, you usually want to be transplanting when they're in the dormant stage, which means that they're not flowering and they're not fruiting. Usually at either the very beginning of the season or the very end of the season, depending on the plant. Strawberries would much rather prefer to be transplanted towards the end of summer, beginning of fall. So if this doesn't work out, we will definitely be doing it again then to see how it goes. But I've got a few strawberries around here. The patch that I closed off in the video, you'll see it's very low lying, so we actually having to mow over them at one point. But I did find some out here. I've got some to my left and some to my right over here off the camera where we've got some dips in the ground. And they're actually able to grow into nice big strawberry plants. So let me bring you in, show you those, we'll dig them up, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So you've got a bunch of different plants growing down here, but one of them is a strawberry plant. It's the one that's right here that has the 3 leaves on it. And it's growing out a nice little clump. It's a nice tall one because the ground is actually dipped down in here. I'm going to dig up 2 different strawberry plants. One I'm going to put in a soil that's pretty much exactly the soil that's growing here. It's the soil out of my vegetable garden. The only way that it's been amended was a couple of months ago. I did put organic bat guano on it for nitrogen, and recently I put used coffee grounds on it for even more nitrogen. Then I'm going to dig up a second plant and I'm going to put it in another pot, which is about 2 to 1 of the 2 parts is going to be a mixture that I had made last year that's got a lot of organic compost, hummus, manure, peat, all that good stuff in it. And then I mixed in a little bit of the same garden soil just to make it a little bit more of a compact soil like what this is growing in. But if you're going to transplant strawberries, the best thing that you want to do is strawberries grow on runners. Make sure that you check out the video above to learn all about runners. And you want to get 2 runners if you can to make sure that the plants take. But unfortunately, the plants that I'm digging up have not spread that well. And if you can see, you probably can't see on camera, but there's a little runner that you can see shooting out from the plant. And if I actually pull that runner all the way to try to find out where it goes, where'd it go? There it is. Try to find out where it goes. You'll see that it actually has not anchored itself yet. It's starting to make a new little plant there, but it actually hasn't anchored itself down. So we're not going to be able to do the 2 runners off the plant. I will keep this runner with it just to see how it goes and not break the runner off of it. But otherwise I'm going to dig up this whole plant and put it in a pot. I'm going to pull what I can back away from here if I can. Ow, ooh, there's little prickers down there. I'm going to give it some space to try not to break the roots. And you can see the plant starting to move as I find my way underneath it. There we go. Let's see how we're feeling in there. There we go. Now I've got the whole plant. You can see all the runners coming off of that. A bunch of runners. I actually have one of these. It's actually not part of the strawberry plant. That's coming from a little weed that's stuck in there with it. So we'll remove that. What's it with that one? Yeah, so you got 2 plants in there. That's the plant that's growing all around it, and that's where a lot of those runners were coming from. You can see, sorry if you're not in view. So I'll just remove that out of there. So we have just the strawberry plant. There we go. And you've got 2 strawberry runners coming off of it. There's one, and then there's another. So we'll bring this over and put it in the first pot, and then we'll get another strawberry plant. Okay, so I've got the 2 strawberries here, along with my windowsill plants. We're going to see how they do in here. You can see the long runners that they've got hanging off of them. So we'll see how they do. Like I said before, I've got the 2 different kinds of soil to put them in, but I'm definitely going to give it 2 to 3 days, and then we'll check on these, because some plants will seem like they wither and die, and really they'll come back in 2 to 3 days. Some plants will seem like they do great, but then they will die in 2 to 3 days. So we'll see how these do, and just like any other plant when we transplant, I did this at the end of the day. You always want to do it early in the morning or later in the day, or on a cloudy, cool day. You don't want to do it in that high noon heat. Then you want to put them directly into the shade or inside like this, you know, in front of a shadier windowsill. This gets nice, really good morning light, so it's shadier right now. And give them a nice deep watering, which is what I've done. So we'll see how they do. We'll check back in a couple days and I'll show you how it goes. Alright guys, so it's been a couple of days since we transplanted these strawberries. I put them in pots Saturday afternoon. It's now Tuesday midday, and they're doing really well. I think we're past that danger period now. I usually give it about 3 days for transplanting plants to really see if they're going to do. And these honestly seem to take right to the transplant. I had literally no problem with them. They never wilted. They never started to fall over. It was like it never even happened to the plants. The one in the back is the one that has all the peat moss and compost and all that added to it. It's a little bit bigger of a plant, and it's been eaten a little bit by bugs, but it's still doing really well. The one up front is standing practically perfectly. That's the one that we took soil from our vegetable garden for. I doubt that we're probably going to get berries on them this year. The berries that they did have did seem to dry up. The one in back definitely dried up. Those berries are not happening. The one up front has a couple of them that still have some color, but the rest are pretty dry. I don't think it's going to try to fruit again at this point, but wild strawberries are, if they're kept under the right condition, considered to be perennials. So if I can keep them through the winter, we should definitely be able to get berries off of them next year. So that's my hope for that. Otherwise, the one in back, as you saw in the other video, both of these did have runners coming off of them. The one that's in back, the runners definitely seem to have passed on it. They really weren't doing so hot outside in the first place. I don't know if they were ever going to take, but if you can see in the video, that's got nothing on it. It's totally dry and brittle, just falling apart. It has one runner off of it that is seeming like it's still trying to do something. It's not looking so hot, but it's trying. The one that is up front, on the other hand, has some really good runners off of it. If you can see this little one in the pot here, I don't know if that's in view, but it's got a beautiful little strawberry plant there, and it's actually sending off a runner to try to make another one. And then we have another runner coming off of it that has another, get tangled in my ivy down here, has another beautiful little plant off of it, and it's actually sending another runner up. The one that's in the pot already has one little root coming off of it. This one is not showing any roots yet. It hasn't tried to anchor itself. But what I wanted to do is I figured why not try to propagate them. So the one that had the little root here, that's not even dug into the ground. I literally laid it in the pot, and I put a tiny bit of soil over its runner just to hold it in place so it doesn't fall back out. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with this one. I'm just going to lay it on the soil, which again, the soil is already wet. I don't want to water it afterwards and damage the plant trying to water it. And I'm just going to put a little bit of soil over its runner just to hold it in place so it doesn't fall back out of the pot. And we'll see if those want to anchor themselves in there. If they do and they take, that's awesome. And then literally all we have to do is, once it's established itself, you want to leave it connected to the mother for a while, because the mother is going to keep helping feed that plant to get it established. But once it's established, we can just snip that runner right in the middle, and then we can go ahead and transplant those into bigger pots. So we'll see how that'll go. That'll be pretty cool if we can get it to take those on. So I'll definitely make sure to keep you guys updated on these plants throughout time, see if those little babies take, see if the strawberry plants do anything with their berries this year or not. Otherwise, we'll see what they do next year. And while we're talking about transplanting, guys, I just wanted to definitely say, especially for people who are a little bit newer to gardening, that don't ever give up on your plants. Plants are so incredibly resilient. I mean, obviously there is a point where, yes, the plant is dead, but don't give up right away. For example, like I was talking about, we've been having some ridiculously hot and humid days here this week. It's been well into the 90s with very still, humid air, and that is not good conditions for our plants that are in pots. And for example, this morning when I went outside, I have 3 hydrangeas, you can see 2 of them here, that I took from way back at the very beginning of our channel, the house that we were in then. I had transplanted a couple of the babies that were coming up out of the ground from the big bush that we had to take with us. They didn't do well at all last year. This year they're coming back really well. But I went out this morning around 7 o'clock in the morning and saw them, and they looked like they were dead. The one that's up front here, you can still see right here 2 of the leaves that are really droopy. There's still some back there that were droopy. These 2 plants looked completely like that. I mean, they were completely laid over, so droopy. They look like they were dead, and I just gave them both a ton of water. I got them out of the sun. I brought them, you don't have to bring them inside, just put them in a shady, cool spot somewhere. I brought them inside by the rest of my windowsill plants. That was around 7 o'clock this morning. It's around noon now, and they both look beautiful now. I mean, the one up front still has a little bit of work to do. The one that's back here was actually in worse condition than this plant was, and it came back perfectly. They all 3 of them look absolutely beautiful already. So just don't give up on your plants right away. You know, give them some time, give them some water, see what they need, and they're ridiculously resilient. But again, back to the strawberries, guys. Like I said, I will make sure to keep you guys updated on these over time to see how they do, see how the little runner babies do, if we get them to take or not. And again, make sure that you guys head over and say hello to Campfire Steve and check out his videos. He really is a ton of fun and a great guy. You guys will love his channel, so make sure that you head over there and check him out. And as always, I will see you guys on the next one. Have a beautiful day, and God bless. Bye-bye.